AI is incredibly smart. We all know that. But what most investors don't realize yet is that AI is completely, unsustainably thirsty. I want you to think of artificial intelligence like a super fast, state-of-the-art sports car. Over the last 2 years, companies like NVIDIA, AMD, and TSMC have gotten unbelievably good at building the engine. These AI chips are absolute miracles of modern engineering. We have built a million horsepower engine. But what happens if there is no gas? What happens when you have the greatest engine ever built, but the gas tank is completely empty? That right there is the real bottleneck of the AI revolution. It's the silent crisis that Wall Street is just now waking up to. Chips? We can make those by the millions. We can build factories and pump out silicon all day and night. But power? Generating new, clean, reliable electricity? That is the hard part. If you are an investor, you need to hear this and you need to let it sink in. If the electrical grid cannot keep up, the AI revolution hits a brick wall. When you type a prompt into ChatGPT, it uses nearly 10 times the electricity of a standard Google search. Now multiply that by hundreds of millions of users every single day. Data centers that used to require 50 megawatts of power just a few years ago are now being designed to draw a full gigawatt. So, the long-term winners of the AI boom might not be the chip companies that everyone is already talking about. The generational wealth might actually be found in the power companies. Today, I'm giving you my Keep the Lights On list. I have broken this down into 14 specific stocks across 4 categories: the grid crew, the storage squad, the power makers, and a surprise 4th category I call the heavy users. Grab a notepad. You'll want to write these down. Let's start with category 1, the grid crew. These are the companies that move the power. You can generate all the electricity you want out in the sunny deserts of Nevada or the windy plains of Texas. But if you can't get that electricity to the massive AI data centers sitting in Virginia or Ohio, it is completely useless. Right now, the US electrical grid is a dinosaur. It was built decades ago for a world of incandescent light bulbs and washing machines, not hyperscale AI data centers. Pushing this much power through old wires is a recipe for blown transformers and rolling blackouts. To fix this, hundreds of billions of dollars are flowing into grid modernization. So, who benefits? Let's look at the names. First, write down ticker symbol TE, which is TE Connectivity, and ticker SEI, Sensata Technologies. These are not flashy Silicon Valley AI startups. They are gritty, industrial companies. They make the harsh environment sensors, the heavy-duty industrial connectors, and the electrical components that keep the grid from literally melting down when you push too much current through it. When utility companies upgrade their infrastructure, they have to buy from companies like TE and Sensata. They are classic picks and shovels plays. Next is a company called Preformed Line Products, ticker KEEL. Again, very boring, but very necessary. They make the physical cable anchoring and control hardware that protects power grids. Think of them as the armor for the electrical grid. Then you have a company like Shoals Technologies, ticker SHLS. They specialize in something called EBOS, Electrical Balance of Systems. If you picture a massive field of solar panels, Shoals makes the wiring and cabling nervous system that actually connects those panels to the grid. And finally in this category, look at Power Solutions International, ticker PSIX. When the grid fails, or when a data center simply can't pull enough power from the local utility, they need massive industrial-scale backup engines. PSIX builds these heavy-duty power systems. The grid crew is your foundation. But there is a massive problem with moving power. What happens when the wind stops blowing and the sun stops shining? Category 2 is the storage squad. These are the companies that save the power for later. AI data centers do not sleep. They don't take weekends off. They require what we call baseload power, a massive 24/7 uninterrupted flow of electricity. But renewable energy, which big tech loves, is intermittent, so we have to store it. This group of stocks is highly speculative, but incredibly interesting. They are trying to solve the battery bottleneck. First up is Energy Vault, ticker NRGV. These guys are wild. Instead of just using chemical batteries, they use gravity. Imagine a massive skyscraper-like structure. When there's extra power on the grid during the day, they use that power to lift giant multi-ton blocks high into the air. Then at night, when the AI servers need power but the sun is down, they drop the blocks. The kinetic energy of the fallen blocks spins a motor to generate electricity. It's basic physics, applied to the modern AI grid problem. Next, we have Eos Energy Enterprises, ticker EOSE. You might be wondering, why not just use massive lithium-ion batteries like the ones in a Tesla? Because lithium is expensive, and on a massive scale, it can catch fire. Eos makes zinc-based battery systems specifically designed for grid-scale storage. They are aiming to be the safer, cheaper alternative for utility companies that need to store gigawatts of power. Finally, there is Fuel Cell Energy, ticker FCEL. They build stationary fuel cell platforms. These guys are wild. Instead of just using chemical batteries, they use gravity. Imagine a massive, skyscraper-like structure. When there is extra power on the grid during the day, they use that power to lift giant multi-ton blocks high into the air. Then at night, when the AI servers need power, but the sun is down, they drop the blocks. The kinetic energy of the falling blocks spins a motor to generate electricity. It's basic physics, applied to the modern AI grid problem. Next, we have Eos Energy Enterprises, ticker EOSE. You might be wondering, why not just use massive lithium-ion batteries like the ones in a Tesla? Because lithium is expensive, and on a massive scale, it can catch fire. Eos makes zinc-based battery systems specifically designed for grid-scale storage. They are aiming to be the safer, cheaper alternative for utility companies that need to store gigawatts of power. Okay, so we can move the power and we can store it, but we still have to create fresh energy. This brings us to Category 3, the power makers. Companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Google are in a bind. They are in an arms race to build the biggest AI models, but they have also made public pledges to go carbon neutral. They can't just build a dozen coal-burning power plants to run their AI without destroying their public image. They need clean baseload power. Look at Bloom Energy, ticker BE. I think this is one of the most fascinating plays in the entire market. They make solid oxide fuel cells.